The show begins silently, a moment of peace before a storm. Claire and Jamie are standing together, but something seems off. Now there is more strain. War is here, not on the horizon. The aftermath of conflict, burned homes, shattered ties, and widespread fear, is depicted as the camera gradually moves back. This episode delves deeply into the price of allegiance. Every choice Jamie makes could be the difference between life and death. His leadership is put to the test like never before, and the burden of keeping his family safe starts to show. Claire, on the other hand, must fight her own battle to preserve lives in a collapsing society. But this time, her expertise might not be sufficient. And then the moment arrives that transforms everything. A treachery, surprised, hurtful. It also goes deeper than anyone anticipated. The kind of betrayal that impacts everyone, not just one individual. Relationships start to break down as feelings rise. Trust starts to erode. And their greatest asset, love, becomes their greatest weakness. The episode's last act is quite intense. There is a moment at the start of this episode where everything seems motionless, still too much. The globe seems to be holding its breath, waiting for a catastrophic event. And in that quiet, we discover Jamie and Claire, standing next to each other, but not in harmony. Because this time, love is insufficient to keep them safe. Pause. Music gradually picks up. Episode 4 doesn't make you feel at peace. You are not warned. It immediately plunges you into the aftermath of mayhem. Destroyed homes. Families split up in a country that no longer seems secure. This is no longer only a war. That's survival. Jamie Fraser has always been a powerful man, a boss, a defender. However, this episode, we perceive a different thing. We notice the weight. Now, every choice he takes has repercussions, not only for him but for everyone who has faith in him. In contrast, Claire is engaged in a different type of conflict, not using weapons but eventually. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms stops inquiring about what honor is in episode 4 and begins to wonder if the expense is worthwhile. Dunk has so far operated under the straightforward tenet that stating the truth, standing tall, and doing the right thing will all be sufficient. However, Westeros responds to him in episode 4 with silence, followed by repercussions. It's not a noisy episode. There are no marching armies. There are no dragons yelling in the sky. Every life she attempts to save brings back unpleasant memories for her, that not everyone can be saved. And that insight, it transforms her. It's visible in her eyes, a doubt, the dread, the silent realization that the environment she had previously attempted to manage is slipping away from her grasp. This episode contains a moment that you will recognize when you see it, where confidence is destroyed. Not gradually, not softly, but simultaneously. A sudden betrayal. It doesn't only hurt, either. It destroys, since this is not an attack by the adversary. It's personal. Music gets a little louder. After that, nothing feels the same. Tension arises in every discourse. There is distrust in every look. The characters' relationship, which was what kept them together, begins to deteriorate. Jamie must make a decision that should never be made by a leader. Does he guard the many or protect the few he truly loves? And the response, it's not as easy as it once was. Brief pause. Claire, meanwhile, has a moment. Jamie eventually learns what Captain Charles Cunningham is up to in Outlander Season 8, Episode 3, Abies Fraser, and he's not pleased about it. Brianna and Fanny are shopping at the trading post as this episode begins. The two have a wonderful bonding moment at first, but when two guys approach Fanny with obviously dishonorable intentions, the atmosphere changes. Fanny informs Brianna that the men were officers when they eventually go. After years of watching customers in the brothel where she grew up, she was able to identify that kind of conduct. This is the first major warning sign of the Outlander Season 8 episode, as these men were at the trading station to see Captain Cunningham. More about that later, of course. Before Jamie learns the truth about Cunningham, a lot more takes place. First of all, a letter from Lord John Grey reopens Jamie's jealousy wounds. John wants Brianna to travel to Savannah in order to paint a portrait of Amarandis, the widow of Ben Grey, and her children. Immediately annoyed, Jamie prohibits Brianna and Claire from interacting with Lord John. This obviously doesn't work out. In Outlander Season 7, Part 2, Jamie and Claire's last major argument about the Lord John Grey predicament is accompanied by a number of other incidents. William continues to look into his cousin Ben's death, and although he doesn't get the answers he's looking for, the process helps him get to know Ben's widow. Another glimpse of Lord John's tense relationship with Percy Beauchamp, who requests a favor involving Fergus Fraser from his former partner, was provided in this Outlander episode. In Outlander Season 8, Episode 3, Claire mysteriously brings a stillborn baby back to life, which is a major event. All of this is followed by Jamie and Captain Charles Cunningham's inevitable altercation. Jamie has found it difficult to trust this man, despite the fact that he is hard to dislike. This Outlander episode explains that Cunningham hasn't actually retired from His Majesty's army. Thus it turns out that it was for good reason. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms stops inquiring about what honor is in episode 4, and begins to wonder if the expense is worthwhile. Dunk has so far operated under the straightforward tenet that stating the truth, standing tall, and doing the right thing will all be sufficient. However, Westeros responds to him in episode 4 with silence, followed by Reaper. In Outlander Season 8, Episode 3, Lord John Grey and Percy Beauchamp had a secret talk during the dinner in Major General Leslie's honor, which was another intriguing scene. The past of these two is murky. They were once in love, but their relationship ended fairly abruptly. Percy nevertheless requests a favor from Lord John. He says that for some reason, he has been trying to contact Fergus, but Jaime's adopted son has not responded to his correspondence. Percy is hoping that Lord John will help to close the communication gap. Lord John consents to help, but he demands that Percy find Captain Richardson in return. In order to blackmail Lord John, this double agent had William abducted. Since then, he has gone missing, and William and Lord John are both keen to see the man brought to justice. As mentioned before, Lord John wants Brianna to visit Savannah in order to paint a portrait of Amarandus and her infant. Brianna accepts the expedition in spite of Jaime's reservations, but she wants to travel to Savannah for other reasons. The Battle of King's Mountain, which Frank described in his book, seems to be inevitable in Outlander Season 8. Brianna and Roger want to make sure their allies have enough weapons, in case they can't avoid the war. There will be plenty of chances to purchase firearms in Savannah. Brianna and Roger intend to buy this item with the Jacobite gold that Jaime concealed. Jaime first forbids it, but this is more related to his anger toward Lord John than anything else. Brianna has every right to utilize the gold he handed her, whatever she pleases. Nothing stops Roger and Brianna from obtaining those weapons once Jaime and Claire have dealt with their anger over the Lord John issue. Everyone wanted to think that Frank's prediction that the Revolutionary War would arrive at Fraser's Ridge was untrue, but it appears like the writing is on the wall once Benjamin Cleveland shows up, and it is revealed that Cunningham is organizing a militia. We are aware that Jaime won't be joining the Redcoats as Cunningham has hoped. Therefore, it is inevitable that these two guys will cross paths on different sides of the battlefield. It remains to be seen if Frank was right regarding Jaime's demise at the Battle of King's Mountain. There will undoubtedly be answers in upcoming Outlander Season 8 episodes. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms stops inquiring about what honor is in episode 4 and begins to wonder if the expense is worthwhile. Dunk has so far operated under the straightforward tenet that stating the truth, standing tall, and doing the right thing will all be sufficient. However, Westeros responds to him in episode 4 with silence, followed by repercussions. It's not a noisy episode. There are no marching armies. There are no dragons yelling in the